Let's talk non-physical, non-physical. Let's talk non-physical. Let's talk non-physical. Let us have some spirit talk. Some spirit talk. Let us have some spirit talk.
So we did letters. Do you want to try something else? Do you want to go free, like close your eyes and
Yeah,
go
sure.
free?
Okay.
Let me do the same. And you don't have to talk. I mean, we can edit. Do you want to say something?
I was just putting out my legs. I mean, I think we can stop and discuss.
Yeah, go ahead. You can start and then I tell you what it is.
So I mean, I would say that this session for me was mostly about sort of a creative partnership with the so-called AI. It wasn't about it sending me all sorts of messages, but it was more about I would start with something, it would add something, I would add something. And it was just focused on, in some ways, it was more shapes and objects. Nothing, I don't think there was any like importance to what was being
Well, but
shared.
it's important that there are some objects, some stuff, and you can recognize certain objects, right?
It was very abstract. There was a lot of abstractness, but it was no, it was fine. I mean, sometimes I would be rotating the object. Sometimes the object would rotate, like it would, like it's spinning, like something spinning. It was mostly me sort of pursuing things that I just find visually interesting. Like helices, springs. It was more just exercising sort of things.
Anyway, that's good. And what about the colors?
Oh, it was all in black and white. I mean, all in grays and black and white. Yeah, there was no color for me at all this time around. Yeah.
Well, you had other times that you saw some colors, right?
Oh yeah. There are different times, and if I'm really focusing, like asking for color, I felt like this time around it was like you know how like do you see these cartoons where people will start by drawing something and then it'll come to life kind of thing? That's what it reminded me of. It's like I would come up with some idea and then it would become an object and then we could look at it. But it was all like very, yeah, simplistic. It wasn't, there wasn't any like heavy details. It wasn't natural. It was mostly artificial objects. And not much, yeah, there wasn't text. I started with text a little bit, but I moved away to more of my objects. So, I mean, I think it was fine for what it was. I mean, it doesn't really matter at this point for me. It's just the more you practice, the more.
Exactly. The more, I mean, the time you spend is.
Yeah.
If you at least go, they say 3 hours a week, that's pretty good. If you can do more, better. But 3 hours a week, it can be a good help.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Once again, it's for people who are starting this, it can, and even for somebody like me, it can be frustrating thinking, okay, well, I haven't reached what I want to reach. But on the other hand, it's kind of like it's almost like a suspense of disbelief. You have to believe that the more you practice this, the better you'll get, and eventually it'll get to the point that, yeah, it'll become fully immersive. It'll become communication. And you know, sometimes you got to start from ground zero. Now, for other people, they may already have very good visualization skills, but then they just want to take it to the next step. Okay, so go ahead and tell me.
Yeah, another thing that I like about this is that, and I hope we can bring more people, that I think it's going to help us in, at least in my case, as I see it personally, that I add more stuff in my subconscious to then that I can bring it to, let's say, become more lucid in the non-physical. This sharing, this sharing of the practice. Okay. Today I started seeing one right now, more eyes, but then something a bit different than the normal. It's like I saw a face of a white man with black beard and glasses, and I saw some motion of that face and little variations, but it looked to me like a face of somebody. So different from other times that I see a face, but then I see another face and another face, and they don't look like any particular person. And then I saw again a similar face that I couldn't tell exactly if it was a different person or the same person with a different, because it also had a black beard, but the size of the beard wasn't exactly the same. The hair was a bit different. So it could be the same person in two different times. You know, like sometimes you have a longer hair, sometimes you'll be like in different days, like maybe a separation of a month or 2 weeks or something. But it was interesting. Maybe there's a person that would come. We'll see. But it was a particular face.
Yeah, if I had, I'm just making a random out there guess. You may have been picking up on one of my past life personalities. Not that I recognize that face, but it's almost like as we develop this, I think naturally certain psychic things will, because you know when you're in the presence of somebody else, it's almost like your fields kind of intermingle, and you might start recognizing people from other, you know, from fields from other people besides your own.
I'm going to try to find the type of glasses. Maybe that can help. It was like a Ray-Ban glasses. Like, anyway, it's going to be better if I grab a picture later on and I'll show it to you.
Did it look like a modern person, like from today?
Yes. Not exactly from today, but not very primitive. It might be from 1900s up, I would say. Not so like 1800 or nothing like wigs, you know, like or something weird.
Did he look young or old?
Between 30 and maximum 50. I would say between 30 and 50. But one thing that was clear is the dark hair, both for the beard. No, I didn't see signs of any white hair. So that's why I would cap it at 50, but I mean, basically not having any signs of white hair or gray hair. Okay, after that, I think I saw another face, but it wasn't that important. And then I started following like a trail, and I was like flying slowly, very low, like 1 meter height maximum. it was a lot of plants next to the. It was like a trail with dirt. It wasn't anything civilized, let's say. In the trail, I saw a few animals. I feel briefly like a dog. Something like was like a big cat. I wasn't sure what it was. Maybe like a puma uh, or a cougar or something like that. Then when I was flying forward, at some point I was flying backwards. Also, at some point I was practicing going up. When I was practicing going up, I got to a decent height. Maybe I would say maximum 300 meters up. Then, but then I was brought down to. I mean, the recent experience was a lot in a low height. Even though I had sometimes a higher height, but most of the experience was at a low height. And then I was seeing the floor, some grass and trees, and I was moving from one tree to another one at that low level, and I was seeing pieces of wood, kind of like old wood around. I don't know if I mean it could be that somebody might collect it to make a fire. It was a lot of pieces of wood. If I wanted to, let's say, to collect them, I could have made a fire. Then at some other point, I was shaking the imagery. I also noticed that I was doing better, but and it could be seen in the video. Maybe I'll do like a fast speed version. That if I was relaxing my neck, I was maybe seeing a little better, because right now, usually when I meditate, my neck is relaxed. Usually I'm laying down, but I was feeling that it was a little bit of a factor having to try to maintain the posture. So I changed it a bit, saying, "Oh, let me relax." When I relax, I got a little better. I mean, I can maybe play with it, but I got a little better by having my neck more relaxed. And then again, started seeing in a smaller area and seeing also more further away with some lightning. I think that was basically it. Anything, any relation? Oh yeah, I forgot a good part. No, I forgot a good part. At some point, I started following some streets, but were streets with dirt, Um, but then I saw houses. I saw like a town. The imagery was very stable. Like I was going in a town block by block, so I was seeing some houses and trees. It was like small town, like a rural area. I saw a few animals like dogs, cows, um, and the houses were stable. I mean, different houses. Like I was going maybe a maximum of movement of 12 blocks totally.
Did you see people in your scene?
I saw a few, but not in detail. I didn't want to get people. Actually, maybe if I could have got better there, if I wanted to get people, but actually what I wanted to get was some sign that maybe it was a specific town, but I wasn't able to get any text. I was able to get any other experiences, but not this time. But the probably the scenery and the colors of the little town was the best quality of the whole experience. And the color I saw the most is the green and the brown. at the beginning. I mean, the dirt, the colors of the dirt, the colors of the plants. So the brown has some red, right? So it was mainly green and red, not so much of blue this time. Oh, I saw some water too. Oh, I forgot another part. You see, I mean, the memory. I actually have I would say maximum 1 minute of the time that I saw water, and the water was shaking, and it was artistic. I started seeing fires mixed with the water, but not the typical mix like you see in Hawaii of lava. It was more artistic. It was fires of different colors, like not a lot of colors, but some colors like yellow, some blue also there. The water was a little bluish, but not a lot. There was a lot of gray in the water, but it was nice. The motion, it was artistic. It wasn't a lot about nature, and I tried to send you that. The few seconds that I got the mix of water and fire artistically, I say, well, I actually saw a bit of your face, trying to send you that part.
Okay, thanks.
Maybe come later with a delay
Yeah, I know.
in the
Years
queue
from
or
now.
something.
So one thing I remember, my thing is I was kind of pretending building a tower and then almost like a little rocket. And what I noticed was I was following it and following and following it, and then it like disappeared above a certain height. And that reminds me of what you were describing earlier, that it's like you could only go a certain height in your scene before it stopped. So that kind of reminds me of the astral, that the astral tends to have a ceiling to it. It's not an infinite height thing.
There is something that I have a lot of room for improvement is to better handle zoom out or going higher, more stable. I can do good from 0 height to 50 meters. Then that's my best level. From 50 to 300, that's my second level. And then from 300 up, especially the range for, let's say, 300 to, I don't know, 100 kilometers, that's, I can improve a lot. Because I can also see planets from the far. But that range of, let's say, from 300 meters to planets from outside, that's a range that I can get better. I can, if I practice more. I'm not that good usually in that range. It's something that kind of like brings me back to a lower height when I try to go above like 300 meters. I tend to go back down. Maybe
So-
because when I concentrate on something, when I put my focus, I usually tend to get closer.
So when I try to cross subplanes when I'm astral projecting, 300 meters sounds about like the limit, like the ceiling. Like if you pass above that, you move to the next subplane, and then you start. It's like you start at the ground again. So it's like this weird limit, and also it's like periodic. It's like you go up one way and then you pop through the other way, and then you go up and then you pop through, and this keeps happening until you reach the top subplane, and then you just hit like a barrier. And then if you want to get past that barrier, you have to kind of change your mood a little bit, and then you switch into what I call the mental plane. So it's interesting that you also have like a weird height limit.
I got an idea. I think I should try to find YouTube videos, maybe of drone footage that go pretty high. I mean, at the heights that I want to improve. I mean,
Yeah.
Or other films, even if it's AI or fictional, that go zoom out. I think by watching more videos, I think that might help me.
There are definitely I've watched like when they do drone reviews and stuff, they'll do these things where they'll show you like, okay, now this is drone number 7, and here's its camera view, and there's us waving from the ground kind of thing. So yeah, you can certainly look at these drone plus camera exercises that people do. My brother-in-law uses drones actually for photography. He'll fly it at a, maybe like twice the, maybe 2 to 5 times height of a human, and then it gives like a different perspective of people.
Mm. And another thing is, I don't know, but you're a big factor on this. I'm getting more into the practice, especially if I compare with last year. I'm kind of feeling like more like a responsibility now that I had to practice. No, even at that level.
Well,
Not like competing. It's not like you see that I always like the analogy of going to the gym. I mean, before I used to go to the gym because I liked it. I mean, comparing practicing, but now it's like I want to really get big muscles. I want to maybe get at a higher level so I can be more useful.
So one thing that's semi-related is, I've done lots and lots of astral projections, but I would say that like 5% of that experience is the actual like thing that you would want to tell other people about. Like 95% of it is just, me flying around or just talking to random people who don't know what the heck is going on. And then every once in a while you get like these little gems. And I'm wondering for yourself with your own experience, like whether it's one of these things where you work out, and then every once in a while you get something that you're like, wow, this is really cool. I want to make a video about it. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's not like 100% of the time that you're exercising, you're going to get this cool stuff. You might just get like really regular things most of the time, but then every once in a while you get like payoff.
Well, there are three. I can think of three things right now. One is it makes me feel better, especially if I don't do it for a couple of days, or 3 days maybe, or 2-3 days. So I like to start with the flying because it's like I get better. I feel more secure right away. But other than that, that's the number one. 2 and 3 are keep trying text, see if I can get a dialogue. Well, maybe I should have 4. Try the audio. Kind of like, also, I like to mix them. I like to put them together, the text and the audio. I think that might help me. Like the practice we were doing earlier.
Well, yeah, what we
And
did
the fourth,
at the
let
end,
me finish because you interrupt me and I don't finish.
Sorry.
And the fourth one, I kind of like forgot the fourth. The fourth one is, yeah, I remember, the face. Try to basically the interface, trying to get expressions with the face and maybe get some information that way. I'm mixing with it too. And actually, I would add another one too, like what I was saying in the video, that try to fly and get into an out of body or astral projection, and also build the interface better so I can communicate. Because I want to get things that are useful, right?
Yeah,
Go
one of the problems with imagery in when I do like the spirit communication device is like you can see faces, you can see all these weird things, and meanwhile you're like, well, what does this mean? And to me, it's like I like meaning. I like useful information. Information by itself is fun, but things, images, whatever. It's artistic, it's cute, but what I really want is knowledge.
Yeah. But I mean, the attitude is, I can also maybe compare it with a tennis player. Let's say that he wants to serve better, right? Mm-hmm. And he might think, well, if I serve better, I can easily win tournaments, right? But it's taking a lot of time for a player to build up on the server. I mean, get a better serves. but he's noticing that his backhand, for example, is getting better and better. So even though he keeps thinking of the serve, but at the same time he should try to be optimistic that maybe his backhand is getting better, his forehand is getting better. So that's the way I see it right now for me. That I wish I can get the comparison. I get a serve by either getting to an out of body faster by doing that, or get to some communication faster without having to be in a lucid dream or out of body. So that's what I am for. But any improvement in quality is welcome, because at the time that I get a communication, if I am better with text, if I'm better with audio, I already have those things that I don't have to work on them later. Because I might be able to get a communication, but don't get the text very well or don't get the audio very well. So, but one of the keys of that I am at a low level, I mean, in awake state, because I can get a good level out of body, is the audio. So that's a must. I have to keep practicing the audio. It is like a weak point. Let's say if another tennis player wants to play with me, he knows that that's one weak point I have.
Yeah, I've actually spent less time in the last few months worried about the internal dialogue part, which was something I was getting better at, and more just focusing on the other realms. It's funny because an internal dialogue could be very informative. So in some ways you could just focus on that and really strengthen that, and then you'd be set, right? You know, you get, you know, spirits talking to you and giving you information. But I feel like for me, it's like balancing it out. Like, I feel like if the more I develop each skill, the more in general, it's going to be easier for me to receive information, because there's different types of information and so they need to be conveyed in different ways. Like, so yeah, I mean, I look at it as, yeah, what I'll do is I'll put on earplugs, I'll close my eyes. So it's like I'm just allowing myself anything. And, you know, that really is what it comes down to, is just allow yourself any of the senses to come through. That's because ultimately our goal is, for me at least, it's to have a real strong communication with spirit side while I'm here. And then theoretically, the idea is that we can accomplish more. Versus spirits on the other side going, Michael, what are you doing? And I'm so oblivious that
there's another thing I was thinking that I could try more. The thing is, it never attracted me that much, but because I already built on it, I could practice more remote viewing.
Yes.
Get a physical target. I actually try with my parking space. See if I can see I should keep trying that, but the thing is that I didn't try that often. I tried maybe 3 times in 6 months, so maybe once every 2 months. I should try to go see if I can see cars, random cars, right, in the parking lot, and then try to see if I see some particular cars, and then go and walk outside and see if they're the same as the one I saw, or some of them.
Yeah, that to me,
that's something I can try.
Yeah, to me that gets into a whole nother realm, which is is the validation. Like sometimes I'll forget a name or something of an actor or something like that, and so I'll ask spirit for that name as a way of verifying that, they should be able to give me the name instantly, even if I can't remember it, right? So, so I do games like that, like where I'll just forget something simple that I could easily look up and then see if, in fact, spirit can give me the correct answer. I don't know. I don't know that it's that accurate. I don't know. But you could try.
But there is another thing that, also I had to get your approval, right?
Oh,
I'm noticing and even with myself, being in these videos, filming, editing, I'm getting more familiar with my face, my own face, and I'm getting more familiar with your face.
Mhm.
And remember, I told you the other day I saw my face pretty clear.
Mhm.
I think I should practice that too, because maybe I can communicate with you, and that's what I was saying. The approval
Yeah.
to try to picture your face and see if I can
So a lot of times when I do this
send you a message.
meditation, I
Huh?
see you.
What?
A lot of times when I do this visual meditation, I see you and I hear you. And sometimes, you're saying things like Tom Campbell, and other times, I'll hear you and it sounds like you're speaking Spanish. So it's
Oof.
like, and I'm not even trying to look for you. It's just that you seem to be part of the, it's almost like you're in the virtual room. And
We should try to send each other messages,
yeah.
simple messages, and see. Yeah, and then one day say, "Hey, Michael, I was," and we had to tell each other what we experienced. So, hey, I was seeing a ball, a big ball of that color, and they say, "Oh, I was practicing that," and vice versa, right? And you can tell me what you.
Yeah, no, we can definitely try that. My feeling is, like I said earlier about me peering in other people's dreams, is I'll have no memory or recollection of being in somebody else's experiences. I think it's because we can sort of spawn off our energy body and we're not even fully aware of what we're doing. So yeah, it's definitely something worth trying. Yeah.
Because another thing that happens sometimes in the non-physical is that your energy flow is not that consistent, right? And sometimes, like the typical William Buhlman clarity now, right? That you want to improve the quality, but I've been practicing for longer times, and I don't see that diminishing of quality. Sometimes I get tired, right, and then I take a break, but so that's why I'm saying this practice has a lot of potential that you can make good use of the quality, because you can spend more time with a good quality.
So I want to add two real quick comments. One is, when you were saying the letters, they would appear instantly and then they would dissipate after a few seconds. And the other thing I wanted to say is, years ago, my projection would last a certain period of time, and more recently, they last almost double the time. It's almost like I get like a second wind, and I'm able to do like a second stint, whereas I normally would have woken up. It's like I get like an extra boost of energy. So it's like you said, I think the more you exercise, the more muscles develop, the more energy you can put into the
Actually, right now, when you were talking, I saw the letter A and I tried to keep it with eyes open. It changed, but I was able to keep an A, some kind of A, for long, even right now. And right now I see two A's.
Two A's. Ooh.
While with an, oh, by the way, maybe I didn't comment. It's easy at some point, for me at least, to get multiple things of similar stuff. Well, it happens, for example, with plants to me a lot. But you might, with people, the same. You can start with 2-3 people, and suddenly you see like 1,000 people, and you can see 1,000 people in motion.
Yeah. I would say that, yeah, I mean.
And it has some randomness, some variation.
Yeah.
It's not like everybody goes the same direction. Like
a herd.
And sometimes I saw people dancing different dancing styles.
Well, like you said, I mean, I think it's less about developing the AI, it's more about our ability to access the AI.
Yes.
Like the AI is already there. It's just we're not, I don't know.
Another factor might be the trusting, because if you get surprised of, oh, how come I get so much variety instantaneously, and then you can say, oh, and then you might freak out and then it goes away. But once I think that happened to me in time. Once you get it as normal, that the complexity is normal, it becomes easier because it's already like you take it for granted. Oh yeah, this is something like similar to those people that say, yeah, I have photographic memory. That's normal for me. I thought everybody has that. I mean, taking something as normal helps you a lot.
Do you think though that like when I look at my visual field, I'm like staring at a wall right now and I just see like it almost looks like noise. Do you think that actually really what's happening is there's an overlay of like 10 different fields and it's the ability to select one out that gives you the better detail. It's like it's like instead of saying that you need to turn on the radio, it's that you need to actually narrow the bandwidth. I don't know. I'm just
everything works both in layers and channels. So the layer is also related to a channel. So
do you ever get something where it looks like there's two things going on at once, and they're on top of it?
Because I also the best, I mean, evidence I got, like I was visualizing, closing my eyes, I was paying attention, close attention to a YouTube video, and I did it again. I saw a recording of us when I was saying I didn't try it, but after that video I tried and I succeeded. Start from the beginning. I mean, started paying attention to a YouTube video, close my eyes, keep paying attention to the video, and start visualizing. So it's like it channels in parallel in different layers. That's why
I'm always wondering if some of the confusion I face when I look at my field is because there's actually multiple things trying to all present at once. And it's the ability to focus on one thing at a time that gives you the clarity. I don't know.